Look who is featured in the November issue of Parenting Magazine. Therapist and Studio 5 contributor Julie Hanks was quoted in the article titled 7 Parenting Mistakes Even Smart Parents Make. So what are they? 1, registering for every single baby product. Preparing special meals for picky eaters. Some moms are guilty of that. Trying to stop a tantrum. Over-explaining. Keeping kids too busy. Trolling the internet for health info. And giving medicine incorrectly.
And Julie is here. All that brings up another good question, a parenting question. Our producer posted on Facebook the other day, should she call in an excuse and absence for her high school student who sloughed a class?
No.
He's a good kid, straight A's, all that stuff.
Well, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having an unexcused absence. It's just you don't want it to be a pattern, right? I think if you set it up ahead of time, he says, I'm straight A. I did this in high school. Straight A student, I'm fine. Can I go to the beach today? And my parents would say yes. And so set it up ahead of time, then it's excused. After the fact, no.
Okay.
That's my
There's
advice.
Julie's answer, and plenty of you weighed in on Facebook as well if you want to see the split opinion. We're going to be back with more from Julie on when is the right time to give your child a cell phone. We'll chat those tech milestones next.
Probably felt the pressure to get your kids the latest high-tech gadget. It's always out there. You know, the gadget that all their friends have.
Right, everybody else has it, Mom. Well, whether it's a cell phone or a Facebook account your child's negotiating for, it's hard to know when to take the leap. Therapist Julie Hanks back with us to share her advice on how to handle top technology milestones for kids. Okay, it's a problem in every family. We're going to dive right in with, I think, perhaps the biggie, cell phones. When do I give my child a cell phone?
Minimum age 12. I mean, before then, there's really no need for a cell phone. And I think even at 12, not a smartphone, just a basic cell phone for safety reasons. And that's, yeah, that's what I think.
What about the mom that's saying, hey, my 5-year-old, my 6-year-old, my 7-year-old is at the dance studio for hours on end, or they're at soccer practice, and I'd like them to have that line of communication. What's your response to that?
Well, I think you should think about why they're spending that much time alone when they're that young. But I do think, you know, this is I'm giving general guidelines, not specific. So, yeah, if your child, for safety reasons, needs one, I think that's fine.
You mentioned
but
just
for
regular.
Social reasons, no.
You mentioned regular phone. What about a smartphone? Is that different story there?
Smartphone, I would say 16 or older.
Okay.
So basically, what a lot of parents don't understand that a smartphone is a computer with access to the internet, which means access to any information, and that's really scary.
Okay, speaking of that access, Facebook accounts. At what age do you recommend parents open up the whole social networking possibilities?
14. 14 or older. You have to be 13, if you're being honest, in order to set up a Facebook account. And so, and at 14, that identity is really important and fitting in. It's kind of the equivalent of like hanging out at the malt shop in the 50s, right? You know, everybody.
Facebook is the 50s malt shop for us now.
It is,
okay.
you know, and I get that, but before then, there's no reason.
Your kids come to you and say, hey, my 12-year-old friends have an account. I'm a 12-year-old, I want to have an account. Does
You
that
say, oh, well, they're not my responsibility, and you are. In our family, it's this.
Good cutoff. Gaming systems, which I wasn't aware how big of a deal they can be, and how, when you talk about that open access to internet, that comes into play with the gaming systems as well.
So my 9-year-old just got this Nintendo 3DS. It's 3D graphics. And I didn't know that it has internet access. He can hop on Wi-Fi on this.
I wouldn't know that either.
I know. I didn't know that. So he was very generous in letting me bring this to show you today. But video games, I think like with the Wii, things that are physically active, you can start 4 or 5. Really doing simple games, tennis, things like that.
Because they can be learning opportunities.
They can be learning opportunities, and they're good for physical activity and social interaction, but you don't want to have isolating games at a really young age.
Okay, 4 years old for that. What about the handheld device like this thing?
8 for handheld devices. And monitored. You don't want them to just come home from school and spend 6 hours in their bedrooms. So I think 8 is a good place to start with handheld devices. And then really the issue with the heavy-duty gaming is the violence. And there's a lot of research that shows that first-person shooters, people who are playing as a first-person shooter in a violent game, it desensitizes your brain to real-life trauma, which you really want to watch out for the violence, no matter what the age.
I'm not a parent yet, but that violence makes me so nervous when you see what's happening in our society from Columbine on, and then you turn on a video game and you see that playing out. It's really disturbing.
And it's hard, and there's a lot of social pressure for kids because, especially for young men, there's an identity.
Sure.
You know, I was walking by a gaming store, and I was like, what is going on here? And what was the release of this huge new game? So, I mean, it's a big part of identity for the teens and the older teens, but really, you got to have some house rules. Like, where are you going to go in terms of what you allow in your house?
What are the house rules for something like an iPod Touch or an iPad?
Again, this is mine. This is like my baby. I love it. My kids don't have, I mean, really, are you going to spend like $700 on a technology device for them?
Now we're into entitlement issues, right?
Right, right. I think iPod Touch and iPad, the 12 is the youngest that you want to do that. And again, the issue is the internet access. It is a computer, and they can text on it. A lot of parents don't know that you can text, you can download apps, you can have that access to a number of people and a number of things on the internet that you don't want. So set up parental controls. Every electronic device has parental controls where you can say you can't have internet access, you can't download this, you can't purchase. So you want to make sure you're really involved in setting the parent controls on any devices.
Be aware, be aware. Great advice, Julie, as always. Thank you so much, and congrats on the Parenting Magazine.
Thanks.
Very cool, very cool mention. Hey, could your daughter